everyone. I hope you're all okay today, and if you're not feeling well, I hope you feel better very soon. I've got my gorgeous Freddie with me today, and he always cheers you up, Freddie, doesn't he? He's got the most adorable little face. He of course is the Ethon sculpt by Cassie Brace, but he's the partial silicone version of him, and he was reborn by my friend Alexandra Taylor Hughes of Suzanne'sBabies here in the UK. He's been playing with his teddy that my dear friend Gal sent him, but I'm going to change him and have a chat about last we went out to see Bob Odenkirk, the Hollywood actor, and had a lovely night, so I'll chat about that. But I'm going to change my gorgeous little Freddie into this two-piece, I think it's mayoral, yep, mayoral set, and it's got two little sheep on the front of it, a grey sheep and a white sheep, and it's got blue and white check around the collar and a little pair of blue trousers that go with it, pound baby blue. They ought to be checky really. I don't know why it's check there and plain, but anyway, we'll pop that on him so he's ready for Theme Thursday, and I'll have a little chat about last night. I hope you're seeing him okay. It's another lovely spring day here. We've been really lucky with the weather. It's nice, and it's 19 degrees today, which is really good, and all the flowers are coming out. Let's take your little sleeper off, darling. Yeah, we had a lovely night last night going to see Bob Odenkirk. He's in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and lately the film Nobody, which is a really good vengeance film. Very, very good. We loved it. We couldn't believe it actually, because we went early to get a good seat, and as we went to the top of the high street round the corner to go to the cathedral, that's where the end of the queue was to get in. We couldn't believe it. It just shows how popular he is here in the UK, and I believe he's been doing book signings and chatting about his new book all around the UK. He was in Manchester and Liverpool, he told us. So yeah, and he's enjoying his visit to the UK. So yeah, and we managed to get in anyway. There he is, my boy. There he is, my jiggy boy. And as I say, he's partial silicone, which means he's got a doe suede body, but little floppy arms, and he can suck his thumb. I love him sucking his thumb actually. I think he looks really cute. I hope you're seeing him all right. Let me just bring you in a bit. Yeah, yeah, big queue. Took us 20 minutes to get in, but we got his book, and this is a signed copy, and this is called Comedy, 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 Drama, because he started off in comedy and he did all comedy and then started doing drama, and it's a lovely book. I'm going to read it, and it is signed. Got a signed copy of it, and oh, I love the smell of books. When he came in, oh, I was going to tell you about where we sat. Of course, we gets in the cathedral and it's packed, and it was very, very packed right up the top, as you can imagine, by the stage. But I was very naughty. I pulled the disabled card and said, you know, we needed to be up the front, which they very kindly let us go up, but there was only like seats, individual seats, and I said, oh no, I need my son, which is true because I can't get up and down out of the chairs. The chairs are very, very low in there. And the only place we could go was there was nobody there, was at the side of the stage. And I said to the lady who was helping, would it be all right if we sat there? And she said, well, the trouble with sitting there is, the reason we haven't set anybody there is because you'll only get his profile. You won't actually see him full face. And we thought, oh well, you know, I said to Conrad, what do you think? And he said, oh, it'd be okay, you know, we can sit there. It's better up the front than, you know, the other alternative was right down the back, which we wouldn't have seen him at all anyway, you know. So we sat there and a couple of other people joined us. We both had masks on, but everybody else didn't seem to be bothering with masks, which is ridiculous because COVID is still rampant here, this new form of it. Anyway, there we go, darling. They fit you nicely, don't they? Your little arm's flopping about a lot today, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, we sat there and a lady come and sat next to us, and she could see I was disabled, and so she put her mask on, which I thought was extremely kind of her, because she wasn't going to wear her mask, but she could obviously tell I was vulnerable, so she wore her mask, so that was really kind. And he started on time. He came in from one of the side doors. He was dressed very, very casually. Just looking for the mittens. He was dressed very casually in a black hooded top and black t-shirt and black trainers. Okay, I'll get some of those. And as he came across, of course, he was looking straight at us. I waved to him and he waved back, and I've got a picture of that. I'll pop it up. Yeah, he actually waved to me. I was made up, quite starstruck, as you can imagine. Oh, he was very funny. He did a lovely speech. He very, very kind about being in England and the lovely cathedral. He said, it's weird, he said, I looked on Google and it was this little tiny building and the people were titchy. He said, I get here and look at it, because I mean, it is the most amazing building. And we were right in the centre where the dome is, with all the beautiful ceilings. Oh, he was quite, you know, impressed with it all anyway. But he was very, very funny, told some very, very funny stories, went a bit into his background, and yeah, it was really, really good. We thoroughly enjoyed it. And the thing was, being the brilliant actor that he is and used to working on the stage, he kept turning around to talk to us. So we didn't spend the whole evening staring at his profile. He actually turned around and spoke to us because he knew we were there. So, you know, that was really good, you know. We thoroughly enjoyed it. And at the end he did like it went on for an hour, and he did a question and answer session. And then he said, well, I've got 3 questions that nobody's asked me, that I'm desperate for someone to ask me. And he had them on 3 bits of paper. And so the person who was helping him, the person that had organised it from the bookshop, he went and gave these 3 bits of paper out to people, and they had to read out the question. And the first one was, is your book at all interesting? Is there any way I can skim through it? Could you just basically tell me, save me the time? And he just went, oh, how rude. And we all burst out laughing. Oh dear. really funny, you know, and all the questions he'd written down for people to ask him. There we go, sweetie. Were all like that, you know. Oh dear, very, very funny. So yeah, good evening, but it was so cold with a big stone building, you know, so cold in there. I was glad to get home. I had a really hot shower because my bones were really hurting, and I had quite a walk as well. So yeah, but very good evening. Lovely, lovely man. He seemed to be extremely genuine, you know, not at all full of himself like some of these actors are, you know. He was very, very just an ordinary bloke, and he'd kind of come up, and you know, he's told us he's never had an acting lesson in his life. He was on the stage doing comedy, and he loved Monty Python, the British show, and yeah, he just loved that, doing that. So he was on the stage, and then he got the chance to be in Breaking Bad as the lawyer Saul, and of course he's a real shady character in it, and he couldn't believe that they'd offered him to have a series of his own. And then he went on to talk about how when he was doing the last series of Better Call Saul, the spin-off from Breaking Bad, that he had this enormous heart attack, and he was overwhelmed by the amount of love and support that was given to him through Twitter and everything from the British public and everyone else, and he couldn't believe how everybody loved this character Saul, and how many good wishes were sent his way. You know, it was quite amazing. So yeah, lovely evening. Very different to going to the cinema. Get those little fingers. Gorgeous boy. That looks really cute on him, doesn't it? And he's all ready for Theme Thursday, bless him. So yeah, really good evening. Bit different from going to the cinema. No ice creams or drinks or anything. They never do anything in the cathedral like that. But yeah, we were glad to get home in the warm and get a cup of tea, you know. So a bit late getting to bed last night, but it was so worth it. Such a lovely man. Really nice man, you know. And I love that he kept turning around talking to us, because I felt as if he was kind of talking to me. It was really nice. And he asked how many people had seen his film. Nobody. And of course we put our hands up, and he said, did you enjoy it? And we all said yes. And he said, would you like a nobody too? And we went, yes please. And he said they are thinking about doing another one. And it seems he thought of the idea for that film because unfortunately he was burgled twice, and he wouldn't go into it obviously, but he said it was very traumatic because him and his family were at home, and that's how the film Nobody starts off. And then this character goes on a revenge thing. He said, and you can't do that in real life, but doing it in a film's great fun. So he got rid of all his anger and everything in the film for the people that had robbed him and upset his family. So yeah, very, very interesting chat, very interesting man. And yeah. And what made me love him even more, come on Freddie, was he read out a poem, or just like a bit of prose that he'd written after he'd had this massive heart attack. And it was after my own heart, absolutely. He said, if I could live my life again, I would do more walks in the park and find out all the names of the birds and remember them and eat more ice cream. And then he went on and said a bit more, and then he said, actually, scrub that. If I could live my life again, I would eat more ice cream, full fat, as many flavours as I could find. And if you were slow eating yours, I'd be harassing you. I'd be saying, have you finished with that? Do you want that? Can I finish it for you? Which, of course, went straight to my heart, because you know me and ice cream. So yeah, lovely evening, lovely man, and we enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed seeing Freddie today, listening to me chat about our evening out with Bob Odenkirk. And yeah, love you ladies and gentlemen.